Once upon a time, there was a king who liked birds. So he built a garden in his palace for his birds to live. And one day, an ambassador from a faraway kingdom visited and gifted the king with two rare and beautiful birds. So the king was very excited, and he put the new birds in his garden. However, after a few days, only one of the two new birds was flying around the garden and enjoyed his new home. The other bird was just sitting around and did nothing. Even though the king had asked many bird trainers, no one could actually help him make this stubborn bird fly. So one day, a farmer came to the palace and told the king that he had a way that could make this bird fly. The king was skeptical, but out of curiosity, he let the farmer enter the garden where the bird was. So the farmer borrowed a sword from a guard, and he cut off the tree branch where the bird was landing. Immediately, the bird flew to the sky to join with his mate, and they lived happily ever after. The story of a bird holding on to its place and only fly high after its comfort zone was cut off sends us the message of opportunities and of ability. Just as the story we heard from the gospel today about the master giving each of his servants different amount of money depending on their ability, and they took care of the master's money in different ways. And we heard from the book of Proverbs that when we find a worthy life, our value is far beyond pearls. God gifted each one of us different opportunities and abilities, and our job is to recognize them, to develop them, to use them in our lives, and to serve others with them. So the first thing I'd like to share with you today, now that I remember, is that each one of us is uniquely gifted by God to be the best version of ourselves, to love God and to love others. Let us not just sit still in our comfort zone and waste our time and opportunities to love and to serve. And among the three servants that were entrusted by the master, two of them made good use of the money and made profits. These two servants took care of the master's business with the responsibility as if it was their own business. That's why when the master returned, he told them to come and share his joy as equals and no longer as master and servants. But the other servant, the wicked and lazy one, who was also the one who was given the least money because of his limited abilities, he was the one. He told his master that he buried the master's money on the ground to keep his mind free of worries, free of doing anything about it. In his mind, the master's business was not his problem. He didn't want to do anything about his master. He treated the master just as an outsider. So the master fired him and took back the money. Now, many times in our lives, we just want to get things to be done with and walk away. Or other times, we treat others heartlessly. We walk past them, we ignore them, or, better yet, we are there with them physically, but we are not actually there. If we treat others just on the surface like that, we cannot expect others to treat us with sincerity. So the second thing I'd like to share with you today is that when we do something for others, let us put both our minds and hearts in it, as if we are doing it for our own selves. And the master in the gospel story gave 5 talents to the first servant, and he gave 3 to the second servant. I thought actually he gave 2 to the second servant. The one with 5 talents make other 5, and the one with 2 make another 2. So despite the difference in the amount of money, the master eventually treated both of them in the same way, to share in the master's joy. What happens in this story is true in our lives too. If we have more advantage than others in any way, more will be expected from us by God and from others. We have more gifts, then we need to use them more. We need to share them more. Otherwise, it will be a waste of what we have, because after all, when we die, we can take nothing. We can take nothing. So why do we have to keep everything for ourselves and not sharing with others who are lacking? Because we will all have the same reward eventually. Heaven. Same reward. That is why it's not smart for us at all to be jealous of what others people have. What they have will ask of them more. What they have will ask of them more responsibilities. So let us focus on what God has given each one of us first and make good use of them. So, in this 33rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, which is the second to last Sunday in this church year, let us keep in mind the lessons that Jesus tells us through the Gospel reading today. First, let us not sit still in our comfort zone and waste our time and opportunities to love and to share. Rather, let us go and explore what God has prepared for us in the world and in others. Second, when we do something for others, let us put both our minds and hearts in it, as if we are doing it for our own selves. And third, there's no need for us to be jealous with others. God invites us to make good use and to share what we have. Everyone else has their own burden to bear, and we do too. Get out of comfort zone and live. Do things to others as if we're doing for ourselves, and focus on our own gifts and make good use of them. And may God, who has begun the good work in us, also bring it to fruitful completion. Amen.